Hi, this is Aaron for BandLab, and in this video we're going to make an Alan Walker style drop using BandLab's free online DAW. You can open this project yourself with the link in the video description, and if you find this guide useful, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be the first to know when new videos drop. Alan Walker's arrangements are unusual compared to most EDM producers in that they have breakdowns and build-up sections that are as long as the parts where the beat and bass are playing. What's more, they often have a much slower tempo than the average EDM track. So I'm going to start by setting the project tempo to a down tempo 90 BPM and setting the project's key to F minor. I'm going to create the drop section first to ensure that it sounds right before moving on to create the build-up. For the kick drum, I'm going to create a new virtual instrument track and select Drum Pad's EDM kit. This plays on every beat. For the snare, I create a new virtual instrument track and this time select the Drum Pad's Techno Throwback kit. I want a big reverb sound for the snare, so in the Effects tab I add a Reverb Studio Reverb effect and turn the mix level up to 9.6. And I sequence this snare on every other kick. Next, I'd like to add a ride cymbal, and for this I'm going to use the BandLab's sample library. I open up the Loops panel, then the Loops tab, and type ride into the text search box. Funk 1 Shot Ride 1 has the sound I'm after, so I drag this onto an audio track and use the handle at the bottom right hand corner of the audio clip to shorten it into 1 beat in length. Then I duplicate it out for the rest of the beat. To duplicate clips, hold Option on Mac or Alt on Windows and drag the clip to create a copy. I'd like the cymbal's high end to be a bit louder, so I add a tone EQ3M effect and set the high knob to +3.7. The hats in this track aren't going to play on straight eighth notes as you might expect from an EDM tune. Rather, I'm going to use trap-style rolls. I create a new virtual instrument track and select the Drum Pad's Ultra Fat 808 kit. I set the view grid size to 32nd notes and create 3 note rolls between the 3rd and 4th beat of the first bar and 3rd and 4th beats of the second bar. To make the roll sound more natural, I turn the second note of each roll down to 90 using the velocity fader. Now that I've finished programming the beat, I'm going to set its levels. I feel the snare is too quiet, so I turn it up to +6 dB, and the ride is a little too loud, so I turn it down to -3 dB. Now we need to create the musical elements of the drop. For the bass line, I'm going to go with the synth bass, classic synth bass. The bass parts play on 16th notes, hitting F, A sharp, G sharp, and C. It doesn't play on the kicks, and again, I'm going to use the 32nd note grid snap to add rolls to the first part of the A sharp and C sections. To bring the bass sound out in the mix, I use the effect panel to apply the fat preset chain. Then I add an EQ3M and turn the mids up to +9.7 dB. For the lead sound, I'm going to use the Synth Lead's 80s square lead. This plays a melody along with the bass line, and I add a studio reverb with a mix of 7.1 to make it sound more atmospheric. To balance the musical elements with the beats, I turn both their levels down to 1 dB. Now that I've created the drop section, I want to make some music for the build-up. For a smooth pad, I select SynthPad's Chill Wave Synth and program a part that plays F, A sharp, G sharp, D sharp. I use the tone multi-filter effect to low pass this at around 350 Hz. Then I apply the reverb, spring reverb effect to make it sound less upfront. I then add another virtual instrument track, selecting Synth Lead's Heavy Lead. This part plays a melody along with the pad. Again, I use the multi-filter to low pass it, this time at around 1 kHz. I also add a delay, filter echo, setting its mix to 50% and its feedback to 64%. To balance these tracks with the rest of the mix, I turn them down to around 1.5 dB. I also want some extra drum sounds in the build-up, and for these I add another virtual instrument track with an ultra-fat 808 on it, this time setting its level to -3 dB. This features claps on eighth notes and a snare part that features some 32nd note rolls, again with reduced velocity on the rolled notes. To build up to the drop, I also make a kick drum roll that starts on half notes, then increases to quarter notes, then eighth and 16th notes. For the last couple of bars before the drop, the first two notes of the art part repeat, which helps the track feel like it's building up to something new. Additionally, the synth lead is introduced here, playing just the first note of the clip repeated with a low-pass filter opening over it. When the beat drops, I use a false breakdown to trick the listener. Just the first kick of the beat and the lead play at first, with the rest of the sounds coming in on the second bar of the drop. To prevent the false breakdown from sounding too empty, I use another sample from the BandLab loop library. I want an impact sound, so I enter impact into the search field and drag deep impact 4 onto a new track on the first beat of the drop. I truncate the sample so that it just plays on the first bar. Remember, you can fork this project and make your own version of it using the link in the video description. Have fun!